Hey guys, it's Maymay, and today we're going to make this elf card, and I'm going to talk to you about this card. The first thing, let's talk about the elf real quick. We had a party at our cottage this weekend for making cards, and I did this little elf. It's totally Pinterest inspired, by the way, but I went into my Cricut and I built a cut file for this, and I'm going to share that with you below. That file may have some images that are a charge for them. I don't remember because when I made it, I was using my Access, my subscription, so I'm not really sure, but I'm going to share the file below anyway for those of you who might want it. But today I'm going to show you how to make it without a Cricut, okay? Now this card I also created in the Cricut. I'm going to share this link or this file with you. I know this is a paid image because this cup comes from the cartridge called Love You a Latte. However, I'm working on a PDF of this card so that you guys who don't have the Cricut can also make this card. So hopefully I'll have that PDF linked below today, but if not, I'll link it as soon as I have it made, and I'll do a video to show you how to assemble it too. If you're interested, let me know if you want that. You may not want this little PDF, but I think this is a cute little card you can do a lot with. Let me know. All right, let's make an elf. This guy is so easy to make without any machinery, okay? So what we're gonna do first is look at all the little cuts you need to make to get ready to make this guy. Super easy. I made a change for this one to make it even easier. Let me show you what I mean. I built this front section and glued it to a card base. See that? But what I decided to do in this one is just use a green card base and then build the elf on top of the green card base. So I'm saving some cardstock and I'm saving some time. All right, what size is everything, you ask? I'm going to put these sizes below. You will be able to see those there. And also, I'm going to tell you real quick what size everything is. This card base is a standard A2 size card base. So this is 4 1/4 wide by 11 long. And when we score it in half at 5 1/2, it folds and makes an A2 card. So just an A2 card base. Now to these pieces. This piece measures 2 inches tall by 4 1/4 wide. This piece measures 1 inch tall by 4 1/4 wide. The belt buckle is 1 1/4 by 1 1/4 square. The inside for the belt buckle is 1 by 1 square. So these little guys right here are the white parts for the collar that I'm going to show you how to use if you don't have a Cricut. So this little guy here is 2 1/4 tall by 1 1/2 wide, and you need 2 of those, and we'll talk about why. All right, let's move this stuff out of the way and start with our card base. The first thing we need to do is score our card base at 5 1/2. So I'm putting this into my Martha Stewart mini scoreboard, and I'm going to score it at 5 1/2. Now something I want to tell you, this cardstock I'm using is textured, so I want to give you a little tip. I score the inside of my cards. Some people score the outside. I'll show you why. So this is the inside of my card because the texture is on the other side, okay? I score it this way, and then I leave it in my scoring tool, and I fold it over into that crease to use my bone folder and crease it down. And that gives me a good square fold. The other reason I score the inside of the card is because we're pressing that score line out. So when we do that, it pushes the cardstock out and we get a smoother edge so that we don't have kind of some bulk on the inside of the card. If you score the inside, you end up with a little bit of bulk, but this is totally personal preference. You can do it any way you want to do it. That is just the way I do it. All right, so I like to give you a little tip every now and then. Now we're going to do some corner rounding. So I'm going to use my We Are Memory Keepers corner rounder. It's the 1/2 inch side that I'm going to use. I'm going to take my card base. This is my folded edge. I'm going to corner round those bottom 2 corners. You really don't have to do this step if you don't have a corner rounder. It'll be just as cute, but I just think it adds a little something. Now for his shorts, I want to corner round 2 bottom corners on it so they'll fit on the front of our card. So now we've corner rounded and corner rounded for these guys to match. So this can now get glued onto our card front. I'm going to open this up because it's kind of bulky. Something I've discovered about the art glitter glue, if you are an art glitter glue user like me, I've taken my fine metal tip off and I think I'm going to have to put it back. I think I'm overusing the glue because the more you use, the wetter the page gets, and it's not working the same without my fine metal tip. So if you've been following along with me and seeing me use it without, my glue is starting to flow really freely out of here, and I think I need to go back to my fine metal tip. So you'll probably see that in future videos because I think it needs it. But instead, I just put a little thin coat just there. Now this is the belt. And it goes in this area, but I don't want to put the belt on yet. And the reason is I'm going to use my punch, my Martha Stewart button punch, to make buttons to go right here. And in order to get everything in the place it needs to go, I'm going to put the collar on first, so then I know how much space I'm working with here. If you don't, it can be a little bit of a headache. So let's do the collar. Now, if you don't have a punch like I'm going to be using, you can just use 2 white pieces of paper like we cut here. Put them at the top of the page on an angle, kind of match them up where you want your collar to go. Let me move my hand. You will glue these down and then trim the edge around, okay? For me, that's the easiest way to do it without having to measure angles and this and that and the other. We're not going to do that first. First, I'm going to punch a little border because I think this will be cute, and I love any excuse to use my punches. So I'm going to put this guy in. This is my Martha Stewart doily punch. I think that is going to be cute. See, we got the first part going, and now we'll just complete that border punch. Oops, dropped it. So there is one side done. Isn't that cute? I think that'll be a cute collar. I'm going to do the same to the other. So now I'm going to glue my collar on. I'm going to start by placing my card on my mat. And I'm just going to kind of eyeball the center, but I'm using the mat to kind of help me find the center. And then I'm just going to take this guy and glue it down like this, having a little open spot in the middle. I don't want quite that low on the card. So I'm going to go something like that and just glue that into place. This is where eyeballing comes in real handy. So something like that, okay? And then I'm going to do the same thing on this side and just mimic it just like this. And when we're done, this will look like a collar. So I'm just eyeballing, kind of lining these 2 edges up, making sure these guys meet at the top. And then I'm going to flip this over and trim away the excess. So I'll start here and do a little trim. Like so. Flip it around, do a little trim here. And then I'm going to trim at the top. And there you go. That is the top after we've trimmed that away. And you see how cute that is? Just take your time and line this up to make it work. And again, like I said, you don't even have to do the border punching. I just thought that would be a little something extra added. Now I have all this space to build the rest of him. So there's his belt and his buckle. Now let's punch a couple of buttons. Now if you don't have this button punch, don't worry. Use a real punch or use some sequins or some beads or some bling from your stash. Anything you have that can look like a button. I kind of liked that this button was kind of oversized. I thought it was cute, like an elf would have big old buttons on him. But you don't have to use one this big. Just dig into your stash and use what you've got to make this work. So I'm going to place my buttons first on purpose, and I'll show you why. Because if I put my buttons down first, I'll know exactly where to put my belt. Put a little glue around the edge of those buttons. Start at the top here and just kind of eyeball center that little button in place. And then one underneath it. Just whatever distance you'd like it to be apart. And now see, I know where I can place my belt and my buckle because I've seen where my buttons are going to live. To me, this is the most important part, is build this part afterwards, okay? So I'm going to glue my belt pretty low actually, so put the glue on, and I'm just scrubbing this glue on. It looks like I'm putting a whole lot, but I'm not. I'm scrubbing that top on there, and I'm going to lay this guy into place, line up my edges to help me keep it straight. Just like that. And then we'll put this little guy on. You could just have a square like that, but I thought this was cool to add this because then it looks like that fabric or that belt is running through the buckle. So put some glue there and place this guy into place, centered in that square. And look, you just made an elf. How super easy, right? So cute. Then on the inside, you can just stamp whatever you like. I stamped Merry Christmas in my other ones, and it was super cute. I think I'm gonna leave this one plain because I don't know what I'm gonna put in there. Who knows what I might want to say when I actually use this card. But I think this is super easy. Now, if you want to get real fancy and Maymay it up, that's what I'm gonna call it. You know I'm gonna pull out my white gel pen and do some stitching, right? Let's stitch this belt into place. Notice how the white on the red kind of pulls that white collar in and makes this white on the buckle, these little stitches pop. I love it. So there it is, guys, the elf card made without a Cricut. Now be sure to open the description box below. I'm going to put links to the Cricut files, to supplies, to our Facebook groups. There's all kinds of links below that you can click and follow us around all over the place. Now, I want to see these if you make them. I love to see what you guys do. So head over to our Facebook group called Maymay Made It, and so did I, and share with us your elf cards and any other cards that you make. We love to see the inspiration. Thanks so much for watching today. I'll see you guys on Wednesday. Bye-bye.